In this section we will discuss about the research design. The research method is the steps employed in the collection of data or evidence for analysis to uncover new information or to arrive at a better understanding of a particular topic. The research methodology is the plan that explains why a particular research method is employed. The ending logi means that there is being a debate or analysis. The research design is the overview or the plan to answer the research question, all the steps in doing this. This plan includes an outline of how the research is going to be structured and carried out, as well as it describes the general plan for collecting, analyzing and evaluating data.
At this point, it is important that during this process, you have clarified the theoretical concepts of framework that you will use. After you have identified the research gap or problem, you have to select the method of research that you will use.
It should be clear that it involves a number of decisions and that you can only come up with a research design once you know exactly what you want to know. The type of data that you intend to collect and analyze. Your skills and knowledge. Available resources, equipment at hand or acquired budget. The period of time in which the research needs to take place.
The design of a research work is based on the type of research that is to be done and by the type of hypothesis that should be tested during the development or the research work. You talk about design when you are referring to an experimental research that consists of demonstrating that the change in a variable causes a change in another variable. Experimental research is done through what is called design, which is a set of procedures that describe how to manipulate one or more independent variables and its effect on another dependent variable.
A research design has to take into consideration the problem, the methodology, data collection, data analysis.
You will start with what is the research problem and what type of data do you need to answer the research question. Describe the characteristics of the problem. Describe how you will gain in-depth understanding of it. Establish cause and effect relationships.
To write the methodology, you need to know first what kind of data do you need to collect to achieve the aim. Quantitative data. It is expressed in numbers and you might choose an experimental design to test a cause and effect relationship. Qualitative data. It is expressed in opinions, interpretations, attitudes, intentions, behaviors, motivations, and you might choose a case study design to dive into a specific context.
Explain why you will use the selected method, especially if you will not use the most standard method for the analysis. Discuss why other methods are not suitable for your research. Also, talk about the limitations or weaknesses in your selected approach, but explain why they will be outweighed by your approach.
Variables in a quantitative approach, independent. Every aspect, fact or situation, etc., that is considered to be the cause of in the relationship of variables. Dependent. It is the result or effect produced by the action of the independent variable. Example of variables: independent, time dedicated to study. Dependent, student performance at school. Example: if your method is qualitative, then you would get the opinion of teachers in regards to how valid are the exams administered during the pandemic. Thus you would use a survey. Also describe how you will categorize the responses when identifying opinions and patterns.
Another sample paragraph is, the first survey consists of X multiple choice questions and Y questions with a 5-point Likert scale. The aim is to conduct a survey with 100 professors from all the academic programs offered at the Hua Japan Institute of Higher Education. A professor is a person teaching classes at the Hua Japan Institute of Higher Education regardless of the number of hours specified in their contract. The professors will be given 10 minutes to answer the survey anonymously using Google Forms.
Next you need to write about how you will select the sample of individuals that will participate in your study. Look at the picture to the right. Population. is the set of all the elements to which the research is referring to, or the total elements or individuals that have similar characteristics over which an inference is to be done. Sample is the part of the population that is selected, from which information is collected for the development of the study and what measurement and observation of the variables will be done.
Explain what methods you will use to collect our data. Will it be a survey or interviews? Or will you use observations to collect your data unobtrusively? Remember that we talked about this when we talked about ontology and epistemology.
Sample size. In scientific research, the sample size should be estimated using statistical criteria, thus it is necessary to learn some sampling techniques. The technique for sample size determination depends on the type of research that you will do and the hypothesis and the research design determined to do the study.
Data collection is the process of gathering and measuring information on variables of interest in an established and systematic way that will enable you to answer the research question and the objectives that originated from the problem, test the hypotheses, if applicable, and evaluate the outcomes. The collected data has to be accurate in order to maintain the integrity of your research. In all this, you need to select appropriate data collection instruments and learn exactly how to use them in order to prevent errors.
A survey is a structured questionnaire applied to a population sample designed to obtain specific information from those interviewed. Surveys are instruments to collect information about the attitudes, intentions, behaviors, motivations, and understandings from people.
You also have to write about the procedures you will use to reliably gather and measure your variables, especially in quantitative and experimental research. Describe the steps you will take to collect and manage your data. Remember that you have to give enough details so that it can be replicated by other researchers. Describe the tools, procedures, and materials you will use to gather data.
Finally, explain how you will analyze your data. This might imply the justification of some statistical methods that match your variables. For example, a pair t-test will be conducted to test the X hypothesis. Explain what you will do with the missing data. Justify your selection of software. For example, I will use SPSS version X because, and explain your reasons. The operating system, its version and language. Remember that other researchers might want to replicate your work.
Some statistical tools for data analysis. Frequency distribution. Central tendency measures. Mean. Median. Mode. Dispersion measures indicate the degree of scattering of the data around a central value. Standard deviation. Variation coefficient.
Some statistical tools for data analysis. Asymmetry measures. They show the degree that the data is skewed from the symmetry and the normal distribution. Kurtosis measurements is the measure of the peakednesses of a set of data. It serves to distinguish if a distribution is flattened or peaked. Pareto diagram. Cause-effect or Ishikawa diagram.
Some statistical tests, t-test, z-test, variance analysis, chi-square test, regression and correlation analysis, multiple regression analysis, multivariate analysis.
Now it's your turn. Answer these questions. You are going to record yourself answering these questions. You are going to record the synthetic voice and your voice as if it were a conversation. You have 10 seconds to answer. Give complete answers. Give reasons. Use the 10 seconds to answer. Don't stop speaking. The file type you submit to your teacher must be MP3. If you need more than 10 seconds, stop this video and record your answer, then resume this video and continue with your recording. You are going to practice several times answering these questions. When you think you are ready, record yourself with the speech-to-text microphone in WhatsApp in your cell phone. If it shows the words that you are saying, then your pronunciation is correct. If not, check your pronunciation. Find a voice synthesis application so that you copy and paste what you are trying to say and listen to how the words are pronounced. Then try again until you pronounce correctly. When you are able to pronounce correctly, then record the questions and your answers using your cell phone and submit it to your teacher.
1. Escucha las preguntas primero. 2. Escribe tus respuestas. 3. Practica leyendo tus respuestas con tu celular en el modo de voz a texto para que verifiques que se escriben correctamente las palabras que dices. También puedes usar otro programa de reconocimiento de voz o de dictado. 4. Cuando pronuncies bien, graba la conversación. Si pronuncias mal, no envíes tu archivo hasta que lo hagas correctamente.
What is a research method? What is a research methodology? What is a research design? Describe the research design process for a quantitative approach. Describe the research design process for a qualitative approach. This is the end of the session. See you in our next Hands on the Writing a Research Proposal Flipped Classroom session.